Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today I want to talk about the MMI and what happens when it completely dies. What do you do then? Because you can't really force reset it, you can't do anything, it won't turn on. So, I mean, logically, you would think there would be no power, or it's dead, you gotta replace it. But I think one thing we want to check is the fuses in the car. And so if one of the fuses is burnt out that control the MMI specifically, or a feature of the MMI, then the MMI is not getting power. So that's where your culprit could be. So today I'm going to show you how you check the fuses in the Audi. It's very similar to each car, but where you find the fuse box might vary from model to model. Obviously your ear as well. Mine's going to be on the right side, on the passenger side, in the trunk area. So I'll go over that with you. Alright guys, before we check the fuses, I just wanted to tell you kind of, obviously there's a lot of buttons here, and I'm sure most of you have thought this was quite bizarre, is that your volume button is your way of turning on the MMI. And sometimes, I mean, over time, obviously, I mean, this car is nearly 6 years old, so these buttons can wear out sometimes. Where in this volume button, depending on how often you use it, compared to using your volume on your steering wheel, usually when you press it down, that's where the MMI turns on, and this is where, if for example your MMI won't turn on at all, you know, possibly, you know, the actual button itself is malfunctioning. But that, I wouldn't put that as the top potential issue of why your MMI won't turn on. That's something more, it's not as common from what I've noticed, compared to what we'll go over right now pertaining to the fuses. Alright guys, so I was able to look at the modules here, or get to them at least. So there's 3 sections of modules here, and so usually, and I'm speaking of modules again because that's what's in my head, but these are fuses. So we have 3 sections of fuses, and we technically want to check them all, even though you know, obviously there's specific ones for specific functions, and the big one here is they're all numbered, and it's kind of hard for me to zoom in here. They're all numbered, and so essentially they have all they pretty much power specific features in your MMI. For example, like the 5, the one that's number 5 is essentially the MMI fuse, and then also what 5 encompasses is navigation, satellite. So the 5 is what we're really targeting, but to make sure that nothing else is causing the issue with your MMI not turning on, you want to check them all. And so essentially what you want to do, usually you'll have to take this bracket off. I would recommend taking that bracket off. And so what you'll need is a multimeter to check essentially if they're not burnt out. and that's what we're gonna do. So you don't want to really take all of them out at the same. You don't want to take them out essentially one by one and check with a multimeter. You can do that by just by checking using a multimeter and checking there's these two pins here, I would say, and so you would put positive and negative to check the power. And so another way to find out if they're burned or not is essentially, I'm not sure if you can see that, but so these two are actually connected. And I think, I mean, from a electrician standpoint, I think the term is like I can't even it's something with conductivity. If they have conductivity, then essentially they're not burnt out. So we'll put that back where we found that. Hopefully I don't drop that. Okay. Just want to make sure that's in correctly. Usually you want them facing the same direction. Okay. So what we'll do here, I have a multimeter, and so essentially, I'm not an electrician by any means, but with this multimeter is so the term conductivity is right here. So if you move your selection to that, essentially this is what we're looking for and what we need to check to see if they're burned or not. But kind of test to make sure that this multimeter is functioning correctly. You can do this, and I think usually it beeps, so that means this is working properly. So what we'll do is we'll take, for example, this one and that. Okay, that means that it's not. So whenever you check, essentially, if you have essentially if the beeping sound is present, obviously the numbers do increase. Obviously the fuse is not burnt out. So essentially you want to check that for all the fuses to make sure that none of them are burnt out. So that's what you need to do, because if one of the fuses are burnt out, then you need to replace which one is burnt out. And so that's kind of the main thing you want to check for fuses. For why, obviously, if one of them is burnt out, then your MI is not turning on for that reason.